I'm just going for this cut. I can't say this is the right shot. He's played that very well. Tremendous shot.
Yeah, they're all right if you get them.
A very thin cut there from Lee Kendall.
He's lost the white here. My goodness. Could you believe that?
I'm not sure he can get through.
Well, he's just asked for a timeout, and he's looked away, and there you see it. This is full ball snooker, and he's got to raise that back end and weave that cue ball around that red. This is all or nothing.
Doesn't like it. I can't say I'd like that either. He has to make this putt. He can't afford to just hit the ball. What a great shot from Lee Kendall. That's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
That was a Houdini act. The long 8 to stamp a seal of approval on this one. And you know something?
He looked nervous, didn't he?
That was nerves.
Did you see him shaking when he was on his cue?
After an unbelievable yellow, he contrived to miss the 8. And that will be costly. And Mckenna almost with a wry grin on his face.
Well, I think he fired the first shot a minute ago when Lee missed the black there. And Mckenna striding round, and this black now to put himself into a 2-0 lead.
Little extra time on that one, and why not? A significant putt to put Mckenna 2-0 up in this race to 9. And a much more relieved Mckenna on one side than is Lee Kendall on the other.
Third frame, Lee Kendall to break, trailing 2 frames to nil.
Frame 3 already, and we've seen some fireworks. Kendall breaking off. And the only way to erase the memory of that bad miss on the 8 is to secure victory here in frame 3, and that's not the way he wanted to start. Nothing down off the break.
Well, it was a powerful enough break, but just unfortunate it didn't get a ball. Well, everything's going Mckenna's way in the early exchanges. Mckenna opting for the yellows. Oh, and that was a handy little kiss.
Yellow balls in play.
Might be a little bit straight, but I don't think he'll worry too much about it.
Well,
lovely shot. You see that side he got on the cue ball then.
Rob Mckenna has not been to the televised stages here in the last 2 years.
Just going to roll this one into the corner and leave a little angle on the other bottom one. Bring the white up into the centre of the table for the last 2 yellows. Black will be going in the bottom right hand corner.
He wastes little time getting down and on with the business. Mckenna can notch him up in the blink of an eye.
Could have done with coming a little bit further for this yellow, but I don't think it'll bother him too much. He's down very quickly.
Awkward. Bottom right. Missable. But not this time. Mckenna 3-0 in a hurry. And Lee Kendall must be all out of sorts right now, wondering how he can put it right. Well, one thing about it, he knows that he can't let Mckenna get out of his sights. At 3-0, he's already in the danger zone.
Mckenna's little sly grin now, I mean, he's looking like a man that's virtually sending out the message that you're not going to beat me today.
There's a lot of players you don't want to give a boost of confidence to. Mckenna would be very high on anybody's list.
Fourth frame.
So we're in frame 4 already. Mckenna all set to break off with a dream start in this quarterfinal. He's taken the first 3 frames and leads Lee Kendall
Open table.
in one of the more important matches that these two have played in recent times. Nothing down though, but nothing easy for Kendall with which to get started.
Well, that's what I think you saw Rob McKenna sort of nodding his head there after the break and sort of glancing across as in, I've not left you anything off that break.
Seconds.
All out of sorts for the moment. Not a lot has gone right for Kendall.
Going for the thin cut back into the bottom right. There's a good shot, he's got it. And he's opened up the ball at the top as well.
One's in play.
I'm not sure he's landed on a yellow. Certainly nothing easy. After such a good pot, he would have deserved a better fate. The billiard gods can frown, and when they do, make life very difficult.
There's another thin cut for Lee. Just wobbled, wiped his feet and dropped in the back of the pocket.
Well, I think Lee Kendall knows the time is at hand. He's got to produce the form and produce it now. Good pot this, knowing the times are urgent.
Well, Lee can't afford to make the same mistakes that he's made early on. Frames 1 and 2. The last one wasn't his fault. But it's the old story. You've got to get yourself on the board just to take the edge off it. But this is a great opportunity for Lee, and I'm sure if he does miss from here, we're going to see some major sort of upset in his eyes.
We're in year 9 of this Embassy World Championship, and Kendall has been a mainstay on the English side. In fact, he's been arguably the most consistent performer in this singles event. Only 1 year has he failed to reach the televised stages. 7 out of 8. You can make that 8 out of 9 now.
Well, Lee's always been a perfectionist and great believer in the cue ball control rather than flamboyant potting.
That wasn't his best shot there, though, Tony.
I was just
He's got
getting to that.
a difficult yellow, and he's going to have to hold that cue ball for position, the 8 bottom right.
Oh, he's done it again, Jim.
It seems like when the winning post has presented itself, Lee Kendall has faltered. On 3 occasions now, and Mckenna is quick to administer the punishment.
It's not an easy snooker to come out of either.
Total snooker.
His only way out.
It looks like all he can really do is just flick off the red nearest this pocket and just leave the cue ball down in the corner in that area. Just try not to leave him with anything easy with which to get started, or he could just roll the cue ball to that corner.
It looks like he's playing the 8 ball. He's going to take the black up to the top of the table, try and block off one of Rob McKenna's reds.
And he's got the cue ball where I suggested. That's an excellent shot from Lee Kendall.
A very good shot. Well, it just goes to show he's thinking the game.
Well, that's one thing you'll never accuse Lee Kendall of, not having his thinking cap on. One of the premier tacticians in this game of 8-ball pool. And you're seeing one of the premier potters.
A lot of players, after they've missed that yellow, because that's the second bad miss he's had, would have got down on that last shot, just fired the cue ball out, trying to get out of the snooker, played a silly shot. Not Lee Kendall.
Well, he's still got 2 difficult reds, and remember, he's got 2 visits. He's got to try and maneuver one of them into the open without wasting a visit. That's a tall order.
Well, in the next 2 shots that Rob Mckenna plays, he'll have hoped to have moved at least one of them.
I think what he's got to do, Tony, is, well, I was just about to say, try and pot to remove one of them and then lay the snooker again on the yellow. And that won't happen now. Still an imaginative effort, this. Had he got that, he would have been able to remove the red nearest the black. Well, that's a big if.
He's bringing the cue down the bottom of the table
And removing
flicking
it.
out. Well, he's brought the red across the yellow. What a great shot. That's a superb shot from Rob Mckenna.
All his reds attainable now.
And as you can see, he can just see the edge of that yellow, so there won't be a total snooker. So he's going to have to hit straight into it.
Well, it shouldn't be a difficult escape off the top cushion. Yes, just last year's paint. He can go off the top cushion. He's also looking off the side cushion. The possibility to try and pocket the yellow into the top left-hand corner. So here we go.
There's also a danger that you can send the cue ball there into the top right pocket as well.
Well, good hit, but no prizes for Lee Kendall on that occasion. And he's looking up into the heavens.
Well, things are looking a bit desperate for Lee Kendall. Now you see Lee stood there, dejection in his face. Mckenna, on the other hand, must be full of confidence at the moment. He knows his opponent's making mistakes, and that gives you that extra bit of confidence and drive to go forward.
Well, we saw what it did in our first quarterfinal with Terry Hunt. He knew that he had an opponent that was out of sorts, and it just helps you grow in confidence when you know that even if a mistake does creep in, your opposition may likely not capitalize. The long 8 for a 4-0 lead.
Well, I thought he could have got the cue ball a bit nearer. It's not easy.
But Mckenna is in top gear right now. He leads Lee Kendall 4-0, full value. He has been in dominant form.
Well, Rob certainly looking in wonderful form. Terry Hunt sitting alongside me here. It's been a terrific start for him, hasn't it?
It has, yeah. Rob looks full of confidence. Lee's struggling at the moment. He's confident. He hasn't found 1 ounce of confidence at the moment. But still expecting a little bit of something coming from Lee. He's still got something to show. And he's done it in the past. He's bounced back, but it's a big mountain to climb. Rob's potting really confident.
Yeah, the irony is that Lee's only really made 1 mistake in each frame, but each time he's been punished and he's lost it.
That's all Rob needs, one mistake. You can't give Rob Mckenna 2 chances.
Yes.
One
You can
chance
actually
is enough.
you can see the tension between the 2 players here, can't you?
Oh yeah, it's the old rivalry that's getting to Lee. I think it's intimidating a little bit.
Terry, thank you very much.
Well, Terry Hunt knows only too well that what he's seeing from Rob Mckenna, he might well have to contend with, because he's going to be playing the winner of this match.
Red ball spotted.
But a red down off the break for Lee Kendall. 4-0 to Rob Mckenna.
Yellow ball's nominated.
And Mckenna is going to have to start spending some time in his chair, certainly if Lee Kendall gets his wishes. But it's down to the man at the table right now.
Whether he's finished it, Lee Kendall would normally knock in with his eyes shut.
Yellow ball's in play.
But under the pressure that he must be feeling now, being 4-0 down and knowing he's had chances, anything can happen.
Yes, 4-0 down in the biggest event of the year.
Well, this is it. This is what it's all about.
Lee's been waiting all year to claw his way back into this one. Beaten finalist by Mckenna in '97.
Red balls to play.
Well, I think he opted for the safety there.
He's got to try and impose a tactical game. I think if it happens to go that route, I think that Lee Kendall would be considered a favorite on paper.
Well, that's the beauty of Lee Kendall's game, because if his potting is not at its best, he can change games and play the tactics. And there's no one as good as Lee Kendall in the game at the tactics.
Foul.
Well, that was a maniac shot from Rob Mckenna,
Well,
and he knows it.
it's cost him 2 visits, and Lee Kendall won't get a better opportunity to slot a frame on his side of the score sheet than right now. Mckenna doesn't seem too bothered, but I can assure you folks, that one will have him thinking all sorts of negative thoughts.
Kendall with 2 visits, and this surely has got to be the time for him to get his frame on the board. Give him a little bit of confidence.
Well, that was a good shot, made to look much easier than it was.
I can guarantee you one thing: you won't see Lee Kendall smiling if he wins the frame.
Be playing the yellow down onto the other yellow here off the right-hand side cushion. He'd like to pocket that yellow, but even if he doesn't, everything will be nicely in the open for him.
That's a tremendous shot. He's used the red cannon the yellow down there, but the reason in doing that was to get the red out of the way for his next shot. Just makes it that bit easier, Jim.
And still with the shot in hand, there really should be no more hurdles for Lee Kendall to have to jump over in this one. But he couldn't have wished for it to come sooner. Eight ball into the left center. I can guarantee you this won't be going in at pace. But go in it does, and Lee Kendall opens his account in this quarterfinal. 4-1, he trails Rob Mckenna, the former 2-time world champion.
Sixth frame. Rob Mckenna to break, leading 4 frames to 1.
This is like the gunfight at the OK Corral. And there's lots to be written yet.
And McKenna's brakes just let him down as well. There you see him shaking his head. He's not happy. Didn't quite get the power into this, as you see Rob's brake, and he's just pocketed nothing, and he's not a happy man.
Yellow ball's in play.
Big chance here again for Lee Kendall to notch another one up.
Well, it's a bit of a contrast, this quarterfinal, to our first one. This has been very, very open. The balls are splitting well. Whereas in the previous one, there was quite a few tactical little encounters.
Well, and you've got 2 players that can fire rockets at each other. Kendall knows that even trailing 4-1, if he can secure this one, he'll be breaking off in frame number 7. And looking at the balls, I think he's going to be savoring that little possibility. The break, a huge weapon in 8-ball. And Lee Kendall's been breaking as well as anybody.
Just wants to drop up slowly onto this ball at the top. Look how soft he's played that. And he's stuck to the yellow. Now, what if the cue ball will go past the black down to the bottom of the table?
I think it passes, but obviously the yellow, the cue ball is nearest, is going to be the problem ball. And you can see lots of room to get that yellow over the corner pocket, but it's going to be positioned onto the yellow nearest the white that presents the problem.
Well, he's going to have to guide the cue ball behind the yellow that's next to the pocket here as well.
Oh, This is a thin clip. Now, can he hold that cue ball here, Tony? This is the problem. Flicking this in delicately and keeping the cue ball bottom end of the table as we look for that yellow into the top left corner.
Well, he needs to go far enough up because he needs to be able to get position on the black as well. He's made the putt. Now, what sort of angle does he have on this last yellow? It looks okay, it's perfect. He's got a choice of 2 shots here. He can pull back into the rail, or he can fire the cue ball onto the top rail and come down for the black ball. Looks like he's doing the first thing I said. He's screwing into the cushion. And that's a brilliant shot. Great shot from Kendall, just when he needed it most.
The 8 goes down. Kendall secures victory in frame number 6. 4-2 to Mckenna, but Kendall on the comeback trail. Well, Lee Kendall showing the sort of form that we would have expected him to have coming into this quarterfinal. There, a 1-visit victory. And it had to be said, Tony, with a lot of confidence-boosting shots in it.
That's right, Jim. He's erased the memory from the first 2 misses he had in the match. And now he's playing like the wily old fox, Lee Kendall, that we know and love.
Well, Lee Kendall all set to break off. He's taken the last 2 frames. Down on the cue here, frame number 7 of a possible 17. Red down off the break. That's the first order of the day. And the eyes darting around the table now to select his choice of color. But that's the difference in the break-off when you're successful and when you're not. Mckenna in the preceding frame, nothing off the break, never got out of his chair again. Here Kendall breaks off, red goes down, and once again he tries to keep Mckenna in his chair.
We'll be looking at the yellows.
Seconds.
I think they're the best ball to be taken. What an opportunity for Lee Kendall to get himself within touching distance of Ron Mckenna after a dreadful start. And this is the thing, if you can keep your opponent sat in that chair for long periods of time, you know, all of a sudden you get cold again, you know, you haven't been at the table. And when you do come back and you present with a tough ball, all of a sudden you start to miss them.
Well, and a very noticeable swing in momentum. And all due to Lee Kendall raising the bar in terms of his form.
And that's pretty much perfect. He's got a little bit of angle on the yellow at the bottom of the table. He wants to get the cue ball up to a central position.
You can see the lay of the land. No obstacles. It's all about controlling that white. The hours of practice. That back arm. Muscle memory.
We'll be dropping the yellow into the center pocket. This will be hit at dead weight. And the yellow that's furthest up the table will be taken next into the top left-hand corner. Then yellow into the center. Yellow down the rail, black bottom left-hand corner.
When's your book coming out?
Next week, Jim.
There's one thing I like to see, and it's a sure sign that a player is starting to grow in confidence and starting to trust his technique, is when you see him start to roll balls in, because it's imperative that you stay still. And if your nerves are contained, as Kendall's appear to be, you're confident rolling balls. And he's showing us a prime example of that.
But for me, it's amazing how he started so badly and now he's playing so well. What a turnaround. I think maybe he needed to be 4-0 down to wake himself up.
Mckenna open, taking the first 4 frames. Kendall has responded with taking the next 3 to bring it back to just 4-3 now in favor of Rob Mckenna.
Well, you just wonder what's going to happen next. Lee Kendall suddenly right back in this match. And Terry, what do you make of this? What's brought this change in Lee?
Well, like I said, you can never write Lee off. All of a sudden, he finds something from somewhere, digs deep, and he comes back fighting. He's always had that temperament. He's done it so many times over the past.
And Rob's now suffering, sitting there watching, wondering what he can do to get back in
Well,
it.
they're both class players. They've seen it all before. He'll still take the game on. He'll still play the finishes. They're both the same, similar sort of players, really, temperament-wise.
Well, Rob Mckenna kicks off, and you can see the shake of the head.
Open table.
He can't master the equation of the break. Another look at the break off here. And the billiard gods are not smiling on Rob Mckenna at the moment.
We saw him shrug his shoulders there, Jim, didn't you, after that break? Like you say, it's 2 in a row. And it's Kendall that's the man with all the momentum.
30 seconds.
Maybe they agreed before they came out. You win the first 4, you look really good, and then I'll come out and then look like I can play pool a little bit as well.
Yellow balls in
Unbelievable.
play.
Having said that, I don't think they would have, because they haven't been speaking to each other for 4
Yeah,
years.
I was going to say, Tony, if I bought into that story, my car would be for sale outside. But you can see Kendall like a predator. Those eyes fixed on that 8-foot surface. His nerves in
30
check.
seconds.
The fox is on the hunt, not in the hunt.
Well, that one could have been a little kinder for Mr. Kendall. And the yellow, I don't think, passes the red into the bottom left-hand corner. He's certainly got nothing that he can go towards the top of the table. And the reds don't look that bad, do they, Jim?
Well, it seems to me that when Lee has left it to fate, out of the first frame, with a little awkward, inopportune touch, took him out of position. That seems to have
30 seconds.
come up to bite him yet again.
Kendall will be up chalking his cue probably. Won't be in his seat now.
Red balls to play.
Well, I think it was safety in mind with that shot. Lee leaves the table, knowing he's not given Mckenna an easy starter. Can't get through to the red, the top right. Or Kenny off the side cushion.
I think maybe he's looking at a plant, Jim.
Well, that would be a bit ambitious.
So it's a bit risky. Well, we've seen him do this before, though, haven't we? Played a double in one frame early in the match, and he gave away a foul.
30 seconds.
He tried to take it off the cushion and clip it in. It's not worked out for him.
No, Tony, you know, had he played the red in the center of the table to the top left, taken the cue ball over to the right-hand side of the table, he would have left Lee Kendall nothing.
That's not the way Rob Mckenna plays, though.
No, it's not. He attacks virtually every visit. And that's a beautiful touch on the yellow. In prime position now is Lee Kendall.
Putting this one into the centre. He's bring the cue ball back out again. Down for the yellow at the bottom of the table next.
Just ensuring where he wants to leave the white. Already giving himself this pot.
That looks pretty perfect to me. He's got a slight angle on the yellow next to the red. Just drops that into the centre pocket. His last yellow will be going in the same place, down for the black in the opposite middle. And what a comeback this is. You see the yellow there, just tickled the red as well.
Just slightly hampered queuing over that red. Shouldn't pose too many problems for Kendall.
Well, he hasn't got to do an awful lot with the white, Jim.
And this 8 into the left center, and the mountain will have been climbed. And there you go. From 4-0 down, Kendall has erased the deficit. It is now 4 frames apiece in this best of 17 men's quarterfinal.
And here at Blackpool, the players just about to re-enter the auditorium. It's just been the mid-session interval, 4 frames apiece between Rob Mckenna and Lee Kendall. Terry Hunt, we've been watching, fascinated how this match has unfolded. Rob got off to such a great start, and then Lee hit back. So how do you see it going?
Well, the pressure's on Rob now. Lee's in the driving seat. He's got to be feeling a lot better for being 4-0 down to 4-all. Like you say, Rob's struggling with his break now. I wonder if that's starting to play tricks in his mind. You never know what's going on.
Yes, he got off to that terrific start. He was 4-0 up. Let's have a look, in fact, at one of his breaks, because early on he couldn't do any wrong with this, and yet suddenly the magic went. Yeah. Now, why do you think that's... Is he different technique?
I'm just not sure about the 9-ball cue. At the end of the day, a 9-ball cue is made for 9-ball, and I've been trying it myself over the last few weeks, and I find the success rate's not that good.
Yeah, and you can see the frustration. I mean, the body language, the face, it tells you that he is frustrated, and we've seen that reflected in his play.
That's right. It's to be interesting to see what's going to happen now. I think I'd put my money on Lee Kendall at the moment.
And we're always aware that underneath the surface is bubbling away that little tension between these two.
Right.
They haven't spoken on a cordial note for years now, so there's a lot at stake here.
I mean, Rob McKenna's been dishing it out over the last 4 frames. It'd be interesting to see if he still does it over the next few frames.
See if he can take it as well as
That's
dish it
right,
out.
yeah.
OK, Terry, thanks very much indeed. Right, the player's just about ready. Once again, it's back to Jim.
Well, yes, the players back in now to the arena, to the applause, and why not? They've produced superlative form, each taking their turns, weighing the other one in. Mckenna opened with taking the first 4 frames. Mckenna repaid the favor by Lee Kendall, who took the next 4. And that's where we sit. The first 8 frames split, Lee Kendall to break off in frame number 9. Finally poised, and still the successful break off, an ally to Lee Kendall. Another look at it, Tony, and this has been the difference. This is the storyline
Yellow ball's dominated.
to this juncture in this match.
Gets a lot of spin off the cable after the break. See, it makes a couple of jumps and then it stops dead. It's a great way to split the balls. See, Lee Kendall's taking the yellows. And there's a lovely little
Yellow
shot to
ball's in
start
place.
with. He's made the right choice of ball.
And the way these two players pocket balls, there's really nothing that isn't attainable. Normally you'd think that yellow on the left-hand cushion is in an awkward position. Not with either of these two at the helm.
Well, he's going to try and get rid of the awkward one early doors.
And that's a sure sign of confidence. Both of them after the mid-session interval, and it had to be said, I don't think the interval could have been more timely for Mckenna after losing 4 frames on the spin. And yet Lee Kendall comes back out and parks Mckenna in his chair.
He's going into the top corner with this. It's there. Nice clean pot from Lee Kendall. That's a ball you wouldn't have seen him knocking in the opening frames.
Yes, you get that camera angle right behind the back end of the cue, and it almost deceptively makes the shot look easy. Not so.
Bring the cue ball off the bottom rail and up. He's played it perfect.
And this is the last stumbling block, if there is to be one. Yellow, top left.
If I were him, I'd be taking that one now.
If for no other reason, he can't get on it any better than he is right now, Tony.
That is a terrible miss. And just look at his face. That says it all.
And if you want a turning point in a match, make note of that miss.
By Lee Kendall standards, that was not a hard shot. He shakes his head in disbelief. But if he does lose this match to Rob Mckenna, that's one chance that he will look back on and say he blew it.
Well, he could have maintained the momentum, but there's still an awkward red, and he's gone after it right away. The red on the right-hand cushion.
He's going to have another go at it. He's got it this time, and a lovely shot from Rob Mckenna.
He's such an exciting player to watch. He takes the bull by the horns on every single occasion.
Coming to this very deep. Oh, what a great shot.
And it was so important for him to plant that miss firmly in Lee Kendall's memory bank, and I think Mckenna knew it. To clear up here will be just the tonic that the doctor would have ordered from Mckenna, having lost the last 4. But the rot has been stopped, and Rob Mckenna takes frame 9 to lead Lee Kendall 5-4. Well, Mckenna has to be feeling a lot better, and I said earlier at the start of this one how big that interval must have been.
Well, it didn't do Lee Kendall any favours, did it? He came back, got himself into a nice position, and this yellow, I mean, I just cannot believe that he's missed that. He's had no kick, there's no bad contact. It's pure, simple pressure, and he's missed a part.
Now, can Rob Mckenna solve the problem of the break here in frame number 10?
And the break's still deserting him, Jim.
Open table.
You know, if he looks at the positive in this one, he has been so unlucky with the break, and yet to be 5-4 in front.
Well, to me, Jim, it doesn't look like he's really getting through the balls on his break. He's not giving him a big slam.
Well, he's exercising on the side of control, and he may want to change that tactic before it's too late. The difficult yellow in off.
30 seconds.
Yellow ball is in play.
Now everything in the open for Lee Kendall. This has really been a super match. Mistakes have been at a premium, and when they have crept in, they have been punished swift and sure.
Needs to keep control of the cue ball on his shot.
30 seconds.
And if he was a fraction out, it's very difficult to get on another ball. He has to keep the cue ball sort of juggling right in the middle of the table for all the yellows. He doesn't like it. Obviously didn't come back far enough. So like I said, he has to be on a sixpence if he's going to play the one in the centre. Cue ball can run away down the bottom of the table and he won't be on another yellow.
We talked earlier how Lee Kendall would be looking to extract some revenge for a memorable loss in the World Championship final in 1997. In this game, it's all about here and now. And Kendall looking to be the man of the moment.
Now you see both yellows pass into the corner pocket. I think Lee Kendall's, the cue ball's caught halfway between the devil and deep blue sea. He'd like to be a bit more either to the left or the right where he's actually placed. That's why he's shaking his head a little bit.
30 seconds.
Big shot now.
Well, he's just going to roll this one in, Jim. Drop the cue ball on the red that's beneath the black. Hold on the yellow. Drop the next yellow in, black in the bottom right-hand corner. Looked like he was starting to dig the cue ball there. Maybe he's going to try and kiss the black out.
Play into the black instead of the red.
And that's exactly what he's done.
And developing that black makes life a lot easier for Kendall. Well, a little bit of a cruel roll there. Step ladder required.
Timeout.
Timeout rest, and
Well, I think you'll need the spider, not the
let
rest,
me grow about 3 feet.
It's fine.
I was going to say, ask for the rest, and when you get what you're given here, you really want the spider.
Time running.
Big shot, and an even bigger moment. Has to have this. And have it he does. Lee Kendall back again, right on the heels of Rob Mckenna. 5-5. And in the sights, it is effectively a 4 out of 7 for a place in the semifinals now. And Lee Kendall knew the significance of this 8 ball. The eyes unblinking, willing that 8 into the corner pocket.
Horrible shots to play those with the rest and the spider. I'm not a great lover of them. I know you don't mind them because of your snooker background, Jim.
11th frame.
But a lot of pool players don't use the
5 from
equipment that often, so they don't practice using it.
Frame 11 of a possible 17. And Lee Kendall, the Fox from Stoke-on-Trent, straight into the center pocket. The break-off that has been so kind to him,
one visit.
all of a sudden
Time running.
turns. Like a rabid dog, Kendall now might have turned it right over to Mckenna.
Well, normally on Kendall's break, the cue ball jumps a couple of times and then it stops, but on that occasion it spans straight into the centre pocket. Rob Mckenna elects to take the yellows.
Yellow balls in play.
Now, how important is this visit for Mckenna? He's just seen Lee Kendall clear up following his break-off. And we're getting down to crunch time here at the business end of the 2001 Embassy World 8-Ball Pool Championships. And Mckenna wants to be alive to sing the praises and give himself the possibility to hoist the World Championship trophy for an unprecedented 3rd time. But he's got such a long and winding road to travel.
Drops this one into the centre, gets his cue ball up the table. And that's a disgraceful miss from Rob Mckenna. Can't believe he's missed that.
Doesn't look like the same player that enjoyed a 4-0 lead. And you can put that right down to Lee Kendall.
Could you make
Kendall has failed to
time running?
allow Mckenna the easy passage. And by virtue of the pressure applied, the misses extracted.
Well, I have to say I'd have lost a lot of money there because I'd have backed Rob Mckenna to finish those all day long. Kendall's main problem ball is top left-hand side of the table, close to the cushion.
Leaving himself a nice angle on this red down the bottom to bring the cue ball into the center. He's never been in front in this match, and he'll never get a better opportunity to see the lead than he has right now. 5 pots away.
Playing the red into the centre pocket now. Just trying to bring the cue ball back. Just unsure where the cue ball's going to finish. He's looking at the red next to it. He's obviously going to kiss into it, but he wants to make sure when he does kiss into it, he leaves himself on that one. He'll be pleased enough with that.
The only problem, red on the left-hand cushion. Kendall surveying the situation. Does he attack it after this red or leave it to the end?
I think it'll be his last ball.
Well, it's going to be a difficult one. He doesn't have the angle on this red to get close to it.
Well, I think he's opted for this way because at the end of the day, if he does miss this, he should be covering that top left-hand corner, which then wouldn't leave an easy finish for Mckenna. But even if he gets this, the black's not going to be an easy one either. Well, I thought that was going to stay there, Jim.
Well, you weren't alone. That hit halfway up the cushion, and only the speed allowed it to fall. And the 8's in, and Lee Kendall, for the first time in this quarterfinal, has his nose in front of Rob Mckenna. 6-5 to the Fox.
From 12, Rob Mckenna to break, trailing 6 frames to 5.
Well, can Rob Mckenna answer the bell here?
It's unbelievable. That is now 4 breaks in a row for Mckenna where he's failed to pot a ball.
And he can offer an outward smile as we see the replay. But rest assured, inside, there'll be nothing to smile about. 6-5 down in this race to 9 for a place in the semifinals and a date with Terry Hunt.
Well, this is chance time for Kendall again. He's opted for the reds.
Red ball's in play.
The only real problem I can see is right bang in the middle of the table. The red and yellow squashed together.
He could elect to try and just flick it into the open right here. He's got the angle on the red bottom left. I'd be surprised if he didn't do that. And again, that will be a testament to the confidence right now that Lee Kendall is carrying around with him.
Well, that's exactly what he's going to do, Jim. He's took your advice. Played it pretty well. Okay, he's not landed on that one, but he's got a ball at the bottom of the table he can get to. Bottom right-hand corner.
That wasn't the ideal path to victory in this one.
Want to come over a bit more to leave himself the angle to get up for the red at the top. Yes, he can get the cue ball up there, but I'm not sure if he can land on the red. He's looking at actually pointing the red into the centre, cannoning the cue ball into the yellow, and using the yellow as a buffer to send the cue ball up to the top of the table. Very inventive shot to be playing, let's say that. That's what he tried, but he's got away with it. Just wants a cue ball near the left-hand centre pocket. If he gets a cue ball there, he's laughing. And that's where he wanted to be. Absolutely perfect.
And if he's straight on this, he can hold the cue ball right there. And Lee Kendall right now looks like a man on a mission. Perfect.
Well, Lee Kendall, he's already won the European title this year. And he'll be looking to add the biggest crown of all to his collection. And he's playing like a man that's on top of his game.
8 into the heart of the pocket, like a dagger into the heart of Rob Mckenna. 7-5, Lee Kendall now in front, wanting just 2 more for a place in the semifinals. Well, Mckenna now with a lot to think about. He's been in his chair and lost 7 of the last 8 frames. His break is deserting him, and right now, so is his confidence. The momentum was gone a long time ago. Can this 2-time world champion dig deep and find the character to pull back into this one? And Lee Kendall
13
wants to
frames,
keep him
Mckenna to
firmly
break. 7
implanted
frames, +5.
in the chair that he now enjoys.
The lovely chair, Jim.
The lovely chair. And still it goes right for Kendall.
Yellow ball potted.
Choice of reds or yellows.
There's a couple of bounces off the cue ball.
And Mckenna has to sit and watch that, and how he must be suffering.
There's no lonelier place in the world than being in that chair. I've been there many a time. But it's great to be in Lee Kendall's position.
Sorry. Red ball's nominated.
You're at the table, everything's going your way. Turns into like a practice session. You think you're playing on your own.
Well, both players have had their turns exhibiting superlative form. Mckenna enjoying his good run at the outset of this match. And Lee Kendall, more importantly, enjoying it at the latter stages. He who laughs last, laughs best.
Well, there's plenty of Rob Mckenna supporters out there. And they see Kendall's miss. When he missed one earlier in the match, it wasn't smiling. He's smiling now when he's missing them. That's because he's 2 frames in front.
Without a doubt, the most important visit to this stage in this quarterfinal faces Rob Mckenna right now. Gut check time.
That's a lovely shot from Rob Mckenna. Great positional play. I think he's eating something that's not agreeing with him.
Yeah, and it was put on his plate by Lee Kendall. A little
Rob's
short of pace.
Not happy with that. You saw him tap the table sort of sarcastically at himself.
And he knows he can't afford a mistake anymore. 7-5 down from 4-0 in front.
All of a sudden, that seed of doubt has been planted in McKenna's mind. He's starting to hesitate. And McKenna, when he's playing in full flow, there's no quicker player.
30 seconds.
So when you see him taking his time, you know he's in trouble.
How big is this shot?
Well, this will be a big test to see how he's feeling at the moment.
And there you see what Rob McKenna is made of. A massive pot. And he couldn't have picked a better time to pull it out. 8 down. McKenna has stopped the rod. 7-6 to Lee Kendall. This one is going to be at the edge of your seats. Nail-biting time here in Blackpool. Players and fans alike treated to one that we're all going to be talking about when this one ends. Lee Kendall and Rob McKenna have dished up a feast of 8-ball pool here for us. And look at this yellow down the cushion, disappearing,
McKenna to break. Trying.
followed by the 8. And McKenna breaks off in frame number 14.
This is unbelievable. You see Rob McKenna took a swipe at the ball, the table with his cue. And it must be getting so frustrating. That's 5 in a row. That's unbelievable. Never been heard of in 8-ball.
Well, seeing is believing. And it's 7-6. There's still a few more chapters to be written in this book.
Kendall's looking at the reds. I'm not so sure reds are the best ball.
30
I
seconds.
quite like the yellows.
Red ball's in play.
Well, he's made his bed now. He's going to have to lie in it should he miss one of these reds.
Well, it looks like he can drop the one in the left-hand center, and that'll put him nicely on the one beside the 8. And to be honest, Tony, it looks like it's all clear sailing here.
Well, you still got the positions. You still have to be on the sixpence for these, Jim. It's not like snooker, you know, an easy game.
You know you'll be getting that one back.
I thought I might.
Nice little angle to nudge that 8 down the table and leave the red beside the yellow, and he's got the insurance policy of the one over the bottom left corner. So Kendall really doing the business here.
He just slightly nudged the black. I hope for Lee's sake he hasn't covered it. Now you can see he can get through there quite comfortably. He's going to be putting this one into the centre, and then he's going to be playing the ball down the rail.
A little bit of side applied there. I'm not so sure he could see that ball, Tony. He tried to spin it in with a bit of side. The mistakes from Lee Kendall have come when they've been least expected.
And I hate to say I told you so. Well, that's unbelievable. I was just about to say yellows were the colour at the start of the frame, which I said, because for that reason the black was sat by the reds. But this is unbelievable miss from Rob McKenna. That's the easiest ball I think I've ever seen Rob McKenna miss. And just look at Rob McKenna. Head in his hands. Can't believe it. I think if I'd have missed one, I'd have smashed my cue up. I'd have lost the head completely. But the only fortunate thing for Rob McKenna is after Lee's miss, he put the 2 reds together on the side rail. Well, he's going for it.
He's going to be doubling the red into the left center now. That's his only option.
How big a shot is this? Not only that, he's got to control the cue ball to bring it up the table so he can play the other red down the cushion. I thought for a minute he was going to cover. Rob Mckenna gets a second bite of the cherry.
The emotional roller coaster continues. You've seen more misses in this frame than in the entire match. Dare I say it?
But you can't see him missing again, Jim. That's what you're trying to say.
You took the words out of my mouth.
Pretty perfect. Just strokes with this one along the top cushion.
This match has 9-8 written all over it, Tony. Flip a coin and pick a winner.
If we go 8-all, Jim, I'll pick my winner there and then. You'll only have to look in the eyes. And I'll tell you what, the yellow doesn't pass in the top right-hand corner.
I'm not too sure what he was trying to do.
I'm out.
And he's just asked for a timeout. He wants the white cleaned.
Well, I'm sure he doesn't want the white cleaned. He wants to just collect his thoughts a minute.
That was a total mishit. There's no way Rob Mckenna could have been playing this yellow into that pocket. We've already had a quick look, and it is available, but I don't believe he's got a full pocket here. And if there's going to be a miss, this is the shot it's going to come in.
He's not sure, and he's still shaking his head. He's looking at the plant now.
Well, the ball passed. We've had a quick look to see the ball passes. If he plays the plant, I can't believe it.
No, but if the ball passes, I don't really know what he's playing at. This is lunacy.
Well, I don't believe what I've just seen. I can throw my eyes away because I've seen it all. And as if that one wasn't tough enough. I don't know what to say. We saw that yellow passed. Mckenna never even looked.
Well, he must have looked. I mean, he had his head down at the front of the table.
This is just unbelievable. And you saw the gesture. Look at him. He is electrifying this crowd. And Rob Mckenna has just pulled back to 7 frames each. It's a race to 9 and all to play for. Well, this break, humongous. Kendall has been so successful. Frame 15. And still, balls find their way to the pockets off Lee Kendall's break.
Come on, Lee. Yellow ball's in
And
break.
what a frame we were treated to in the last one. What an array of shot making by Rob Mckenna. Can it get any better?
Trying to break the yellow out now in his first go. That was unlucky. And he saw him drop his arm down there.
Time out.
The yellow Tony alluding to, the one glued to that red
Time
in the
running.
center of the table. That's the only problem ball for Lee Mckenna at the moment. It looks like he's got another chance at it here. There,
That's a
Kendall
great
has
shot.
it in the open now. Available to the right center.
Well, we've seen some astounding misses in this match, but we've seen some unbelievable potting. And she's just going to and fro, and you just don't know what's going to happen next. It's one of the best matches I've been privileged to see actually at the World Championships.
Yes, and we've got the best seat in the house.
Red balls to play.
And the saga continues.
This match is going to be whichever player can hold his nerve. Lee Kendall is starting to show signs that he is human.
What a shot for Mckenna to play there.
Rob Mckenna is showing signs he's not.
You can cut the atmosphere out there with a knife, Jim.
You can see the one problem ball nearest the yellows.
I'll tell you what, Jim, I thought he might have played it then, because he was on it.
Let's get another chance here. Just bring the cue ball around the back end of the yellows and black. Now does Rob Mckenna look like a winner in this one?
Just had a little nod of the head there as to sort of acknowledge that he's in A1 position. Well, I think he'd like to have gone through a bit further than that. He was playing to leave this red in the corner. He had a little sly grin there. It's in.
He is such a fluid shot maker. That position is of not of paramount importance. And this 8, bottom left for an 8-7 lead. It's there. Rob Mckenna just one frame away from a place in the semifinals. 8-7 now over a very game Lee Kendall.
Well, there we go. What a dramatic way that this match is starting to pan out. Rob Mckenna just making a quick exit from the arena. Terry, is this a psychological move?
No, he might just be going out to settle himself more than anything. He's just done a big finish. He's gone in front. He might have just gone out to have a few words with himself, wash his hands, and come back and make sure of the last one.
Yes. What's he now telling himself? Because having struggled, having made the brilliant start and then being pegged back and looked like he was going to lose, he's now got his nose back in front again.
He's done well. He's done really well to come back in front again. Because I thought that Lee Kendall was taking control of the match.
Yes.
And he's just slipped up a couple of times, Lee, though, and fair play to Rob. He's really took his chance.
The strange thing is that Lee just didn't look like he was going to make any more mistakes, and he's just made a couple in these last two frames.
One or two shots. There's a lot of pressure out there. I mean, Lee's really desperate to win this competition. I know he's really. This is well, it is for everybody, but Lee Kendall, you can see it in his face. He's really hungry and wants it so much. It's unbelievable. And I think maybe that's getting to him a little bit more. He's never won it, Rob has. And
the audience here, I mean, electric atmosphere here, isn't there? I mean, you know, lots of support for both players.
Yeah, Rob loves it. He loves it. Lee Kendall might be not enjoying it so much.
He's been working the audience, hasn't he? Manipulating them, just pumping them up, getting them going. I mean, the tension, you could cut it with a knife, eh?
Yeah, it's nice to watch. It's good for television. It's good pool.
And are you still going with Lee? You still think he could pull this next one back?
Can I change your mind?
You can.
No, I'll stick with Lee.
You'll stick with Lee?
I still fancy Lee to come back.
Yeah. You just have a feeling, don't you, that this could, as we said a moment ago, right down to the final shot of the final frame?
Yeah, I think it's going to be 9-all, and I think Lee might just scrape it.
Okay, well, you're obviously hoping they're going to leave their best form behind when they play you.
Yeah, that's it. They'll be worn out by the time they play me.
Okay, right. I think we're just about ready to resume once again. Let's cross back to commentary with Jim.
Well, thanks very much, guys. And Terry, I can tell you one thing for sure. It won't be 9-all.
I think, Jim, that he still thinks it's first to 10 because he thought it was the first to 10 in his
That's right.
final.
Mckenna back into the studio here. Center stage. And he is the man in focus. the man of the moment.
16th frame, Rod McKenna to
And
break.
look at those
Leading 8
eyes.
frames
Look
to
at
7.
that face. He hasn't successfully completed the break off for about 3 weeks ago. And still, it deserts him.
Up and timer.
Got no answer for that.
Well, imagine if it does go 9-all, because it'll be Kendall to break. And how big a break is that? I think Terry's got me at it now. I still think it's going to be 9-all. It certainly won't be 9-all.
Well, Lee Kendall right now,
30 seconds.
right here, the Hilton Hotel in Blackpool. This is your time. Perfectly legal.
It's a great shot.
Yellow
Yellows.
ball's in play.
Now the ball in play for Lee Kendall. He had the red on top of the yellow, offered the plant because neither suit had been determined. He could play the red onto the yellow. Perfectly legal. Just don't try it in snooker.
Lee Kendall
30 seconds.
concentrating with all his heart. Every shot is paramount.
And when you're trying to keep those nerves in check, as both these players are want to do out here, it's all about having a sound technique. Being able to deliver that cue straight through the center of that white.
Well, you don't get any bigger pressure than this. One false move would see Lee Kendall's 2001 World
30
Championship
seconds.
dream disappear. And he's on the 2 yellows at the bottom of the table. Still got a lot of work to do. Nothing's going to come easy at this stage.
But what a match we have been treated to. And Kendall still out of sorts. He
30
wants to
seconds.
gather himself.
Well, I think he's been distracted by something in the crowd there. Turned his head round and sort of gave out a glare. And it looked like Rob Mckenna actually got out of his seat when Mckenna was about to strike the ball, and the glare was directed at him.
These are very tense times. Lee Kendall living on every single shot.
That shot was superb. The position of the cue ball is absolutely perfect. Just pots this yellow into the centre. Cue ball's going away from the 8 ball slightly, but he won't be playing this too hard. Just wants to pull the cue ball back a little bit. And we're going to a 1-frame decider by the looks of it, Jim.
Eights are wild here in Blackpool. The 8 down, and we're deadlocked at 8. 1 frame to decide who will progress and who will make the long trek home between Rob Mckenna and Lee Kendall. Well, Lee Kendall will be breaking off here, and as is the case, these two gentlemen offer their hands. They may not necessarily be the best of friends, but they have to respect each other's ability and character.
Well, there's no doubt about that, Jim. See, Lee Kendall's gone to glance at the pack to make sure the balls are packed tightly. He doesn't want to break now and not see a ball go in.
Break 8 from each.
Here we go. This is what we promised. Lee Kendall opens things up here in what is going to be the last frame in this quarterfinal. Nothing down, and look at the yellows. What a time for his break to leave him. And what a chance for Rob Mckenna. Yellows, ideally placed.
Rob's taking the yellow at the top of the table
30
first.
seconds.
By doing that, he keeps the cue ball down the bottom of the table for every shot. He hasn't got to go up and down. Now, does the yellow that's near the black spot pass into the bottom left-hand corner? If it does, then we should be seeing Rob Mckenna progressing to the semi-final. It obviously does go in, because that's the ball he's played for. And there you see, it will just shave past the yellow and go in the corner. That'll do for him. He'll be happy enough with that. He's got the plant into the centre. He'll leave the other yellow over the bag now. Over the centre pocket. That'll be his ball to get onto the 8 ball. Just wants to pot this, kiss into the red that's near the yellow. Replay through the gap. That was a brave shot to play, Jim. I think we're going to see some emotion in a minute.
He's taken no time at all, like he's at the practice table. And in this tournament, he's never played a bigger frame. And never had a more important visit. And never looked at a more important ball. This 8 for a place in the semifinals. It's there, and Rob Mckenna dispels a very game Lee Kendall. 9/8, the narrowest margins of victory, and look at Mckenna through to the semifinals in this year's Embassy Whirlpool Championship. The man of the moment, two-time champion looking for his third, Rob Mckenna.
Well, it's been a great performance by Rob Mckenna. That has to be one of the great televised pool matches. Terry Hunt is watching it with me here, and full credit to Rob. I mean, he kept his nerve just when he needed to.
Yeah, he's never going to lose his nerve. I just feel sorry for Lee Kendall. He's put so much into a match twice against Rob Mckenna, and he's come out second best. I just really feel for the guy at the moment. But yeah, fair play to Rob. He's dug deep, he's hung in there, he's not missed the pressure box.
And both players have actually had to dig pretty deep. I mean, Rob is going to not, you know, I mean, he'll know he's been through a tough match when he faces you.
Well, yeah, I'm going to have to up my tempo a little bit, I think, to compete with that. But I should get some practice in and try and get on to top form for tomorrow, or Friday, sorry.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's just take a check then, shall we, on what's happened so far. 2 quarterfinals gone, 2 still to go. Terry Hunt, as we saw earlier in the series, pretty comfortable against Tony Vujovic of Australia. And Rob Mckenna, what a match against Lee Kendall. One of the great matches in this Embassy World 8-Ball Pool Championships 2001. He is through, Rob Mckenna. He now meets Terry. Still to come, Chris Manning against Darren Appleton, the 2 lads from Yorkshire, and Phil Harrison facing former world champion Carl Morris. Let's just have a brief word from Terry about those 2 other quarters. They're interesting in different ways, aren't they?
Yeah, very interesting. Chris Mellin, I think he's probably the tournament favourite at the moment. The way he's been playing in the tournament so far, he's beat Quinton Ann. He was probably the tournament favourite before Chris came and knocked him out.
They're going to have to go some to beat the standard that we've just seen, aren't they?
Yes, well, Chris Mellin's quite capable of that. He's really playing well at the moment.
And then the Carl Morris match just around that quarter-final listings off?
Yeah, you've got to fancy Carl, I think, for that. Carl's more experienced in these circumstances. He's been here before. He's world champion. He's been semi-finals. He's been there, done it, and I think he's the one that will come through that match.
Well, a lot to look forward to. Terry, thanks very much indeed for joining us. Have a good rest and good luck, of course, in your semi-final. Right, that's it from us for now here in Blackpool. Hope you've enjoyed it. We'll see you next time. In the meantime, from all of us here at the Hilton Hotel, it's goodbye for now.